Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 259. Good afternoon, everyone. Ignore the sound back behind me. I think I got a cat causing trouble. I can't get to it right now. That's right. We'll just deal with it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Got some swirly marks on my deal here. Hold on, just give me a second here. Just want to verify. Let's see. Where is it? 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 Oh, there I am. Yeah. Okay. Well, for some reason, I'm swirling right now, but I know I'm live. Okay, so welcome to the JP8 Report. Sorry about that slight delay there. And so, with that being said, if this is your first time on the JP8 Report, hit that follow button for me. And then right next door to it, give me a thumbs up for a like. All right? And then if you can, share it and repost it. And then, so just so you know, I tell this to everybody. We broadcast live from Rumble only, but we simulcast it live from Rumble to Facebook and X also. And I'm trying to get it on YouTube. YouTube has a requirement of 50 subscribers before they'll allow you to live stream. I have 12. Okay, got another one couple of days ago. We need to just build that up. So if you get a chance, when you click follow on the JPA Report, just go over to YouTube and go to the channel name is the JP8 Report 67. That's the name of my channel, and then just hit subscribe on it. Okay, I would really appreciate that. So with the JP8 Report for the day, I keep getting all kinds of breaking news and stuff. So America 250. So this day was a big day in the American Revolution. It is so November 13th, 1775, victory in Montreal. The General Richard Montgomery, his forces entered Montreal without any opposition, and from General Guy, I can't think of the British guy's name, but he knew he was going to be overwhelmed, so he abandoned Montreal and took off to Quebec City. So after General Montgomery occupied Montreal and was greeted very well there, he marshaled his forces and continued on to Quebec City in a means to help Colonel Benedict Arnold on his quest to fight Quebec City and bring relief to the Americans over on the East Coast. It was considered a great morale boost for the American cause. All right, so that is your America 250 event for November 13th. Well, those guys are. I'm gonna look over my shoulder. Hey, move. Okay, maybe that helped. So I'm back. So I want to talk to you about the Dalmatian Texas burgers. These guys are homemade smash burgers and dogs in Copperas Cove, Texas. All their ingredients are homemade, including their buns. They're open Tuesday through Sunday. Tuesday through Saturday, 11:30 to 2. I'm sorry, from 11 to 2 and 5:30 to 7, unless they sell out. Right? And they're on the west side of Copperas Cove, behind Bush's Chicken. Boy, I'm so distracted right now. Behind Bush's Chicken on the west side of Cove at Cove Terrace. So if you're in the area, you want a good smash burger, Go check these guys out. Corey will take care of you. All right? And I got breaking news. DOJ seeking suspect after attack on U.S. Attorney Alina Habba's office. Oh my goodness, she just got sworn in. Wow. It's not on the news there, but it's breaking news from Fox. Okay? So, while I was in the middle of talking about the Dalmatians, I forgot to transition back over. But that was Alina Habba's office was attacked, and they're looking for the suspect. And like I said, she just got sworn in. All right? See, the day never stops, does it? All right, so hold on just a second here. So, last night, about 10:30 last night, the president signed the continuing resolution ending the 43-day federal government Schumer shutdown. The Democrats got nothing except for Hakeem Jeffries and Chucky Schumer, totally embarrassed. And they're looking to replace both of them. Already, there's a member of the New York City City Council is already looking at primary challenging Hakeem Jeffries for his House seat. And no telling what's going to happen to Chuck Schumer. I can almost guarantee, like everybody else is saying, that he probably won't even he won't be in the majority in 2027, and he'll be lucky to have a Senate seat. And AOC is probably the prime recipient of that seat if it goes like that. So last night, 2 Republicans voted against the bill in the House. That was Congressman Stubbe and Congressman Massey. They both voted against it. And then 6 Democrats voted for the bill. So they put the final tally 222 for and 209 against, right? Those Democrats that sided with Republicans and reopened the government is Jared Golden, Adam Gray, Don Davis, Tom Suozzi, Henry Cuellar, he's of Texas, and I think he's retiring, and then Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. Okay, Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. She's from, I believe she's from Washington State, right? They're all Democrats, and they decided they wanted to help our country and voted to reopen the government. And I got more from Marie in just a few minutes also. The president, he came on TV last night and accused the Democrats of an extortion attempt, which is exactly what it was, because they were demanding that that in exchange for their vote, he would need to agree to extend $1.5 trillion in medical stuff for illegal aliens and extending the expired temporary or the near expiring temporary Obamacare stipends. All right? And he wasn't going for it. And none of it happened at all, right? The only thing that was included in the bill, and several people didn't like it, was the ability of congressmen and senators that were subjected to intelligence seizures without being notified that they were under subpoenaed warrant, right? That they're eligible to sue the government for $500,000. I think that's a small price to pay for the illegal activities of the FBI and Jack Smith. And then that was another thing. So another thing I learned this morning was Jack Smith actually targeted Speaker, I think he was Speaker back then, Kevin McCarthy. He was a congressman. They targeted and tried to get his phone records. I couldn't find the exact article yet, but that's another one. So we have 6 senators and now 2 House members that they try to get their phone records from. Well, some of them they did. And then Ted Cruz, so that's 7 senators and 2 congressmen. How deep does that list go? I want to know, how much more is it? That's crazy. Jack Smith is in a lot of trouble. Let's see. So the president was talking about that extortion attempt by the Democrat Party. There's nothing democratic about the Democrat Party. He said, we need to get rid of the filibuster. There's no need for it. So, like yesterday, when the House reconvened, there was a new congresswoman who got sworn in. She wasn't able to get sworn in because the House was out of session, right? And they said the first thing that's going to happen after she gets sworn in, she's going to sign the discharge petition to bring in the votes to 218 signatures to force the House to release the Epstein letters or something like that, right? So that was implied intent, right? So what happened yesterday? Speaker Johnson swore in this new congresswoman, and the first thing she did after getting sworn in, she went over and filed the discharge petition. So when the Democrats say we're gonna terminate the filibuster and expand the Supreme Court, don't you think that is their implied intent that they will do that? So why not head them off at the pass and do what we need to do? Because we know with all these executive orders that the president are signing, they can be easily overturned in the next administration. Easily. But passing a law is different, right? So I'd say maybe it's time we do that. Maybe. We need to. There's probably needs to be some constitutional amendments that need to be passed, like term limits, right? Campaign finance needs to be dealt with also to keep like guys like George Soros from spending hundreds of millions of dollars to get people elected across the country. Let's see. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders late last night promised socialism across the U.S. Why isn't that considered incitement? Just because they're not throwing rocks and bullets and stuff. He's threatening the thread of our society by bringing a different form of government that's just like someone that practices Islamism, right? Saying we're going to bring what is the name? Sharia law into the United States, in which some people actually try to do in different parts of the country. Veteran ABC News correspondent Jim Avila dead at 69 after a long battle with illness. So a reporter that passed away. Be in prayer for his family. All right. And then Speaker Johnson said this shutdown was never about health care. It was all about power. The power to try to stick it and blame Trump. It's Trump, 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 just like in the Brady Bunch. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. All they want to do is try to blame President Trump. Everything they do is to blame the president. They won't blame Biden. No. He was holier than thou. But when it came to Trump, it's all his fault, no matter what. So then that goes to my next point. So no sooner did they vote on this, guess what happened? The Democrats tried to release more Epstein files on outdated, dirty. So I am sick and tired of the "we got you" politics. It's happened to me. It's happened to the president. I've seen it happen to a school board candidate that lost it. Well, just like me, I lost and he lost. These "I got you" stupid politics around here. This is about the president and this guy that's been dead for 6 years now, and they keep bringing up the past, and they're involving a young lady that took her life in April, where she can't even defend herself, and they accuse her of lying, in which she said on 6 different occasions that the president have nothing to do with any of this, and they keep bringing it up because they want to stick it to him in the eye and try to discredit him so he lose political influence across the country, so he becomes ineffective. They want him to become a lame duck in the first year of his presidency. Well, I got something to tell you, you low-down, dirty Democrats. You better go read The Art of the Deal, because you're messing with a man from New York City that knows how to play politics. All right? And he's not a career politician. So, look at that. They went after Secretary Hegseth and what his life was before he became a Christian. They went after RFK Jr. They went after Mr. Vaughn. He got arrested, and then the charges were dropped. And then someone brought up the charges again, not against him, but put it in the press, and he pretty much lost the race because of it. And they put a 30-year incumbent back in office. Me, I was going through financial difficulties in my business, and I had to declare and close down. And before I could be my financial stuff could be settled in court, lo and behold, the guy that I was running against, someone had told him about my situation and took it to the paper, and the paper actually wrote the article right before the election. These low down, dirty, rotten scoundrel, "we got you" politics has got to end. How about voting for people on our own rhetoric, what they stand for, what they believe in? Because tell you what, everybody has a closet. All you have to do is open that door. Something's going to fall out, and sometimes there'll be a big skeleton on the most upright person. You think they got this holier than thou image that they can't be broken. I know a lot of them, and I know you can open up a closet door and stuff will fall out. So give the president a break and let him do his job. Let him do his job. So back into Miss Marie Perez. How do you pronounce her name? Glusenkamp Perez. Well, talking about dirty politics, right? Well, she's a Democrat in Washington. This has nothing to do with her elected seat. So what happens on November 5th, so it's been a week, right, was the last day to file for the primary in Illinois. And Representative Chuy Garcia, he had already filed his petition, his stuff to be able to file for re-election, right? And then right before the deadline on the 5th of November, because he's such a popular congressman in that area, I would never vote for him because he's a Democrat. What does he do on the 5th of November? He withdraws his bid for the nomination in the primary. and his chief of staff, right after he pulled his name off the ballot, she filed to run for Congress, and then the window closed. Nobody had a chance to file against her or file against him to run for that congressional seat. So now she's unopposed, because I guess no Republican filed against it. So she's going to go through the primary unopposed, no Republicans, now no Democrats. She's automatically going to be a congressman on January 2027. Talking about dirty politics, that is dirty as they come. Because I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen right here where I live at. I saw it happen in Gatesville 4 years ago. Our former chair of our party, one of our former chairs of our party, on the last day of filing in December of 2022, I think it was, or 2021, something like that, right? When you get old, you lose your memory. So I will only use, well, let's put it like that. I won't use positions, okay? So the chair of our party here in our county, on the last day of filing, 5 minutes before the deadline, he abruptly resigns as party chair and drops his paperwork to run for county judge, and at the same time called an emergency meeting of our party for the existing precinct chairs and appointed the vice chair as the party chair. It went against all bylaws and everything. Same concept. Eliminate because what happened? Filing period closed. Nobody could drop their application in to run for party chair. That's exactly what happened. Well, said former party chair now got stomped in the primary, so he wasted his time and money on it. But the same concept. Waited at the last second, dropped, new guy came in, he's appointed as the acting chair until we were able to have a formal appointment through, I believe it's Matt Rinaldi was the state party chair at that time. But yeah, dirty, low-down politics. Dirty, dirty, dirty politics. Should never happen. No one said anything in the chat, but if you've ever experienced something like that, let us know. Put something in the live chat. Put something in the comments. Comments stick around. So if you just want us to know after the podcast is over, it's gonna drop. If you look at my shirt, I'm sorry, but for some reason it interacts. It's white shirt. It's cotton. I can't believe it interacts with my green screen like that. But it does a little bit. Okay, so next is let's put this over here so I don't forget. We've already done that. Give me a second to get reorganized here. Okay, so Charlemagne, Little G, was doing his show the other day, and he interviewed Jasmine Crockett, and he suggested that she would be highly qualified to be a U.S. Senator and or presidential candidate in 2028. I don't know why he would say that. I guess he hasn't been around her long enough. I guess her politics plays a different role. You should have seen. I was watching Dear America this morning. That comes on at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. It's with Graham Allen. And some guy was interviewing Miss Crockett, and this drag person was right beside her. And drag or trans or whatever. And they were talking about stereotypes and how weak MAGA people are, which she has no clue. And then and the camera shifted to the right of her, and it was some guy is like had to been like 6.5 feet tall with stupid makeup on and flashy clothes and stuff, scared the living daylights out of Graham Allen. Yeah, that was crazy. Let's see. What's next? Y'all heard about what happened with BBC last week, right? Was discovered about their J6 coverage, how they edited the President Trump's ellipse speech, where he said, "Go with patriotic and peacefully," right? The Australian Broadcasting Corporation did the same thing. They did the same thing. Let's see what I wrote on my notes. It has been discovered that Australian Broadcasting Corporation did the same as the BBC in editing POTUS's 6th January speech by editing it in a February 2021 documentary. The sad thing is they stand by their work. The BBC's being sued for this right now. The deal was, he said that they said that BBC could be sued for up to $1 billion for their. So the ABC may be the same thing, but if you sue someone for like defamation for like $1 billion, they may settle like for 50 or 75 million just to vanquish the case, right? So don't be surprised by, all this money is going to free renovations in a presidential library, and other people are funding all these construction projects. Good for the president. They should have never. And so that's why it's good to broadcast unedited documentaries. That means every time I don't put many videos on here because it's such a hard endeavor to do, but I don't try to edit documents or anything like that. The only last time I did was a few weeks ago. I did a campaign finance report on this one PAC that's stupid, but I went out of my way and redacted the lady's address so she wouldn't get doxxed. Call me a nice guy. I'm a nice guy, right? In California, do you know the name Dana Williamson? Dana Williamson, until recently, was the chief of staff for Governor Newscum, right? Gavin Newscom's chief of staff. I think she resigned at the beginning of the year, right? Well, she's been charged 23 counts of taking $225,000 out of an idle campaign account belonging to Javier Becerra. If you don't remember him, he was I think the only Health and Human Services secretary that President Biden had, right? So he's not running for office anymore, and he had a dormant account, and what she was doing was she was taking $10,000 a month out of that and giving it to her friend Sean McCluskey, right? She got charged with conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud, defrauding the U.S., obstruction of justice, lying to the U.S., and for filing false tax returns. She's in a heap of trouble. But where did she get the idea from? You don't arbitrarily say, you know what? I'm going to raid someone's campaign account and start taking money out. So did someone plant that idea in her head? Because disclosure, I still have leftover campaign money from my political expeditions, right? I have $143.10. So on January 15th, when I file my next CFR, I have to declare I have $143.10. I can't take $143 and take my wife out on a date. That's defrauding campaign money from donors. Why would a campaign manager want to go and do something like that? Who else knows? I'm sure there's there's more than Sean and Dana involved in this. There's got to be. There's no way those two people were the only two people involved in defrauding Mr. Becerra's campaign account. Man, I can't believe he's missing $225,000. I mean, I wish I had that kind of money in my campaign account. But he didn't use none of it. He just made it dormant and went on to work for President Biden. But even though he's a Democrat, I'm not going to wish ill will on him. That's the money people gave him to run for office. So maybe he's going to run for governor sometime, or AG, or the Senate, or something like that, right? But she took $225,000 out of his campaign account. So how did they find out it was missing? And who hatched the plan to Miss Williamson? And I'm not saying Governor Newscum had anything to do with it, because he's too busy prancing off to far away places like Brazil and do all of his junk instead of taking care of his state. But something happened there. 23 counts, and it totaling up to $225,000. Both of them are probably going to go to jail for this, hopefully. Got two deals about John Fetterman. John Fetterman was, he claims that MSNBC they stopped inviting him for interviews. Go figure, Mr. Fetterman. Mr. Carhart, if you go against the Democrat Party, how do you think the legacy media, the lamestream media, or however you want to call them, are going to treat you? You disloyaled MSNBC and CNN and ABC and CBS because their plan is to try to go at the president as many times as possible, and you just took his side and helped get legislation passed. Yeah, sure. They're not going to interview you anymore because they don't want to. Now, I'll tell you one other thing that might happen, because I heard it this morning on the Chad Prather show. So, as you can probably tell, what I do in the morning time after I draw up my outline for my podcast here, I listen to other podcasts. I like to listen to Dear America, and at 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock my time, I like to listen to Chad Prather show, right? And so this morning, when he finally got on air, because he was on an airplane trip, he said he heard, let's see, how did I write it down? Chad Prather said he heard that Fetterman may join the GOP next week. He said, he doesn't know how true that is. I don't know how true it is. They already got McCormick as a GOP senator in Pennsylvania. It's trending to be a Republican state. You don't have to be a far-right conservative Republican to be a Republican, because there's plenty of moderate Republicans out there. We see them all the time, like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, Jeff Van Drew. You have Mitch McConnell. Yeah, several of them, right? So if he turned and became our 54th Republican senator, it ain't going to hurt him. He'll probably get more votes when he goes up for re-election if he runs again, right? He was quoted the other day saying he got in a cussing match with Josh Shapiro or something like that. So he's no friend of Josh Shapiro, so You never know. He was the lieutenant governor. What if he decided, I don't want to be a U.S. senator anymore? I want to represent the people of Pennsylvania as their governor. What if that happened? We'll see about that. But yeah, that was the rumor that I heard this morning. That would be pretty good. Except you got to get rid of the Carhartts, okay? You got to. Let's see. Socialist Katie Wilson, as a foot was itching. Sorry about that. She has a 1,900 vote lead over Bruce Harrell in Seattle for their mayor's race. So it looks like, pretty sure, I can't believe they're still counting ballots. That's stupid. Election day was over a week ago. But you're going to have a socialist mayor in New York City, on the far east coast of the country, and on the far west coast in Seattle, you're going to have a socialist mayor also. All right? And she's already said she wants to raise taxes on everything. All right? You get what you vote for. Okay, so we're still going strong. All right, give me a second here to refresh real quick. All right, I'm back. All right, so next. We'll get to that bad stuff in a minute. I won't even talk about that. How far we were in 37 minutes. I'll save it for last. President Trump yesterday endorsed Greg Abbott for his fourth term as governor. And what did he say? Oh man, I wish I would have. If I would have only been on Truth Social, I would have printed out and put it on our slides. In a lengthy Truth Social post, Trump praised Abbott as a strong and highly respected governor of Texas. And he may not be perfect, but he knows what he's doing. He also credited the governor with defending conservative priorities and steering Texas through what he called a big win for Republicans, which would be the redistricting bill. On Sunday, Governor Abbott, I'm reading from the Texas Minute, launched his re-election campaign in Houston. I actually saw that on TV. And he was like, his main proposal was big tax cuts for homeowners, especially in the realm of he wants to eliminate property taxes for schools, right? And then it said earlier in the year, President Trump endorsed nearly every Republican incumbent in the Texas legislature after the passage of school choice. Let's see what else we got here. Beau French, he was the GOP chair in Tarrant County. He resigned yesterday, or he resigned Monday, I believe it was, and he put his hat in the ring for the Texas Railroad Commission. Like it says here, there's 3 commissioners, but they have nothing to do with railroads. It's all about the oil industry. Okay. Matter of fact, they want to rename the Railroad Commission to something dealing with the oil. All right. Let's see. GOP family suing Camp Mystic. I don't know why. That was a complete tragic accident. Some illegal alien stole a miner's identity. It says the illegal alien, his name is Antonio de Jesus Moreno Escobar, allegedly bought an entire fake identity packet, including a stolen Social Security number, a Texas identification card, and a federal immigration card for $120. Now he's going to go to prison for it. All right. And let's see what else. In 1789, just a few years after the American Revolution, Ben Franklin wrote wrote a letter to French scientist Jean-Baptiste Leroy covering several topics, among them the newly adopted constitution and operations of the government under it. This was right before the French Revolution. He is quoted, "Our new constitution is now established. Everything seems to promise it will be durable. But in this world, nothing is certain except death and taxes." You know, I never saw the full quote. Always saw the comma. Nothing is certain except death and taxes. They didn't include the part about the Constitution. That's a really good quote. And then the number of the day, like Mr. Sullivan does on there, right? The number of days the U.S. Constitution has proven itself durable since Franklin's letter to Leroy. 53,691 days. That equals over just shy of about 240 years, right? 235 years, I believe. So we got that done, and I'm pulling for Governor Abbott. All right. Let's see. Next is over here. Before I get to this part, so I saw a deal on Fox News a little while ago. Would you believe? And Rachel, if you're listening, don't answer this, okay? University of California, San Diego released some stats of incoming freshmen at the University of California. So, 1 out of 5 incoming freshmen at UC San Diego can't read on the 8th grade level. And then 1 out of 8 can't do math on 8th grade level. How? No, wait a minute. 1 out of 8 can do math on a level, and then 1 out of 5 can do reading on 8th grade level, right? And one of the questions that was asked was if Sue had 9 pennies, and Rachel, like I'm saying, don't answer this if you're listening. If Sue had 9 pennies and 9 dimes, how many coins does Sue have? Any answers? Does anyone want to try to answer? If Sue has 9 pennies and 9 dimes, how many coins does Sue have? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, nobody wanted to try. Okay, 18. 73% of the people that question was asked got it right. Only 73% in California at that university. And they're going to college. Nah, that's wrong. We got problems. We got bad problems. And you can't blame it all on COVID, because there's still teachers involved and family, parents involved. It's a concerted effort to make sure your kids are ready to succeed in life. You pay some of these teachers $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year to teach your kids. And what are they teaching them? It doesn't make sense. There needs to be genuine reform in our country that make these kids. People blew a gasket when they heard the president wanted to allow more people to come in under the H-1B visa program, right? And if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me, right? But these are for highly educated, skilled workers that we want to let them come in temporarily and then go back to their home countries, right? If you have students in college that can't do algebra, they can't do algebra 2 or calculus or physics, how are those skilled workers going to be able to be hired that are Americans in those jobs? And then, I'm telling you, The average Joe out there has no patience for stuff that takes 5 more minutes longer because you actually got to figure out your math problem because you don't know how to do it in your head. Right? So like I said, you got to give the president benefit of the doubt. We have to redo our education system and get these kids educated and prepared to be productive citizens in our country. I have a degree in history. I at University of Maryland, University College, where I went to college at, right? There, for history, you were not required to take college algebra, right? I'm like, hurrah, because I hate math. I can do it, right? I can. But to be able to take a regular math course at UMUC, I had to take Math 06 and Math 1-2. They were pre-algebra courses, pre-algebra and then pre-algebra. And then I was able to take college algebra. Me being James, like, no. I'm not taking algebra. This is stupid. Why would I want to take algebra? I'm not required to. Wait a minute, I just took Math 006 and Math 012. I'm ready. I am ready for this thing, right? So I took infinite mathematics. Stupid move. I passed it. I passed it with a B. I think it was a B. I'm pretty sure. That was probably the hardest class I ever took. I was prepared for algebra, but I decided I want to take this other one, which involved accounting, stats, calc, stuff that I wasn't really ready for. I was ready for algebra. I should have taken the algebra class. I'd probably got an A in it. But what I'm saying is, we have these kids that aren't prepared to succeed in life, and we got to make sure. We're going to be dead and gone in a couple, 3 decades. But our kids and grandkids, because I do have grandkids, they're going to be propelling our country forward. And we don't want our kids to be subservient to other people because they can't function as Americans. That's taking history, that's taking civics, that's taking advanced math, advanced science, stuff that you really need to succeed in life. That's what we need. All right? I don't think I'm going to be able to get to everything. Let me see if I can do this one last one here. Let's talk about Jasmine Crockett one more time. Okay, so I'm going to read this article about Jasmine Crockett. So if you don't know, she's been referred to the Ethics Committee. All right, so I'm just going to read this article. It's a part of the article, right? Fact challenge. Oh yeah, okay. She got fact checked on CNN yesterday, right? A fact-check lefty, Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett, got put in her place on live TV by CNN anchors after she falsely tried to blame Republicans for redacting the name of one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims in a newly released email. That would be Virginia Gaffney, I think that's her name. The email in question was part of a tranche of 23,000 pages of documents from the convicted pedophile's estate released by Republicans on the House Oversight Committee this week after Democrats published a smaller batch in which they chose to redact the name of deceased victim Virginia Guffey. Republicans later revealed the omitted name in the 2011 email was Guffey, and accused the Democrats of deliberately muddying the waters by obscuring the fact. Let's see. I think I missed a quote here. Okay. The fact that Trump does not want these files to be out, to me, says that he has more to hide than him actually being able to exonerate himself, Crockett said on the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer Thursday. However, CNN anchor Pamela Brown then produced the email and pointed out that Guthrie, who died by suicide, unfortunately, in April, wrote in her posthumously published memoir that Trump had no hand in the disgraced financier's wrongdoing. Yeah, I don't know that. Obviously, it's redacted who the victim is, so I won't necessarily take the Republican word on who it is that's redacted, Crockett said with a high righteous laugh. And I don't know why they would necessarily read someone's name who is deceased at this point. And Miss Brown quickly corrected the far left rep, reminding her the Democrats did that, though. A visibly rattled Crockett stammered through an attempt to walk back her false assertion and quickly changed the subject. And then the Post says the Democrats were no, I understand, but just saying, like, the biggest concern is to actually make sure we're protecting victims. And obviously, she wrote a book. She told the truth, right? Stupid people, right? I hope Jasmine Crockett runs for the Senate in Texas, because she's going to get waxed across the board. I'm not going to read this other one. What are we doing at? We're at 52 minutes right now. This one is another one about Epstein. I really don't like talking about this criminal. But it was about, what's his name? He was a lawyer guy named Wolf, right? And he was trying to help Epstein get a leg up on trying to set the president up for extortion and robbery, because he thought he had an opportunity to do that. And then there were also journalists that were actually trying to influence Epstein on how to gain a leg up on his public relations for when he's interviewed by the press. To me, what is a journalist trying to train up a convicted pedophile on how to conduct himself in the media? Their job is to report the news, not invent the news, right? Stupid stuff. I'm not even going to read that thing. Anything else in the news? Anything else? Did I miss anything? That would be interesting to hear if Fetterman becomes a Republican next week. That would be something else. I don't know. We'll see. So, we'll like tailor everything down at this point. Fox News alert. Hold on. They're talking about the Palisades fire, which nothing is happening in the Palisades. I think 4 houses have been cleared to rebuild. After that, Gavin Newscum isn't doing nothing. After him and Karen Bass said that they would help the people in that area with very limited environmental restrictions, hardly anything is happening in those neighborhoods that got burnt to the ground right before the president took office. But that's what they're talking about. Congress launches probe into LA fire response. Good for them, because that really needs to happen. All right, so if y'all want to find me, you can find me on X at James Pierce Jr. You can find me on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. You can send me an email at jp8report@gmail.com. Remember, follow the podcast. So if you're watching now and you haven't clicked that follow button, whether you're watching me live or video on demand, click that follow button and click that like button, please. And then go over to YouTube. So the overlords, as Chad Prather says, the overlords at YouTube, Just go over there, go to the JP8 Report 67. That's my YouTube channel. Click subscribe. You don't have to go back and listen to it. Just subscribe to it, right? So we can get the 50 and we can simulcast from Rumble on the way out, all right? So, any other questions? No comments, no live chats. All right. So, I will see y'all. Well, oh yeah, what I wanted, let's see, what do we have? 56 minutes. So, in the next couple weeks, I will have my studio built, hopefully. We got everything together almost. The last of it comes in on Wednesday. It'll give me some time to get everything ready to go. And you won't see the green screen anymore. I won't tell you how it's going to go, but it'll look really cool when we're done on it. All right. So we're in the process of getting a small studio built for me. Get me out of the dining room so the cats don't bother me. I guess I bored them stiff because I don't hear them at all. So I hope everybody has a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.